Hey y'all, this is Tyler Blake from tylerblakeart.com again, and this is, I want to say, episode 3 of my... Isn't that weird that when I was doing the challenge every day, I couldn't remember what day it was, but now that I'm doing videos about once a week, I can remember which one it is. This is my third Beyond 100 Days video, and originally I was going to show my test lettering page, but I'm at work and I left that at home again. But I think I had mentioned I got Photoshop, so I've been doing the letters, and I'm using some fonts that I got from blambot.com, which rocks, and I'm using word bubbles from Scott Serklin's free comic maker starter kit, which also rocks, and so anyway, I've got stuff kind of as placeholders, and but when then I was looking up tutorials on how to filter out blue, because I had scanned some of my pages, not just, well, I'm at the same time I'm working on this, I'm also doing, and I had showed this during my 100 days videos too from time to time, I'm working on an Edgar Allan Poe short story, not a comic adaptation, but just a illustrated version, The Facts in the Case of M. Valdemar. So I had scanned this page just in black and white and printed it out, and I'm currently coloring that with Copic markers. So I'm doing what they call the grisaille method, which is French for gray stuff, and so I've got a lot of warm gray on the bed here, and then some cool gray on Mr. Valdemar, and I haven't really started on these other characters yet, but with that method, you put your gray tones down first, because I'm wearing black. Gosh darn it. Okay. Roll of masking tape. You have a highlight right here, because of I've got a light almost directly over my head, and then it kind of fades down, and you've got a little bit of reflected light on the bottom maybe. Here, I'll turn it this way so we get more dimension. So this is tan, so it would fit into the yellow tone spectrum. But it's not like you want to, if you were illustrating that, you wouldn't necessarily do darker and darker yellow, because it would look like really saturated, right? So what's different is that there's more gray and darker gray on the darker areas, and that's just the way light works. So like on me, here, let me. So you have like your extreme highlight here, and then you have kind of like the regular color, and then you have like your gray more in the shadowed areas, right? So anyways, so you lay down your gray first with any transparent medium, so you can do this with watercolor or gouache, or in my case, Copic markers here, and then you lay your color over that, and when you do your color, you could use, I'll probably, usually when I do this, I might use a couple different values of a color, but depending on how much work you put in with the gray layer, you could just do, like this bedspread, I'm planning on having this be red. I could just do one pass over that with red and it'll be done, because I'll already have my highlights and my shadows worked in, right? And anyway, so, but and this looks better now that I've started to get some tone on it, but when I first printed it out, I wasn't necessarily happy with the way my line work looked, just scanning it in black and white, because this comes down to my inexperience with the digital side of things, but it scanned it as like an 8-bit bitmap, and I couldn't make it not do that. So I started looking up tutorials, and I figured out I can scan things in color and then filter out the blue, since I draw in blue. So, I've been messing around with that, and I I did that on the first page of my comic book. Actually, I think I did it with the first 2 pages, just, trying to figure it out. And I was like, I really did very minimal inking. Like it, you can see a lot of my construction lines because, on with the pencil, but like when you take, so it kind of adds a false amount of dimension to it. And when I just took out all that blue, the black that was left, I was like, wow, I did like really, really minimal inking on this, and I'm not necessarily happy with that. And so originally I had planned on doing the same Grisetti method with the Copics on my comic, but I really want to have more black detail than that. And it's kind of I was kind of kicking that around, and then I started watching one of my favorite inkers in the world, and that's Richard Friend, who y'all might know him from different social media platforms as Blaster Kid, but back in the 90s, he was the inker for Travis Charest on the Wildstorm imprint. It was like Image, and they had different imprints. But Wildcats, which was started by Jim Lee, and then eventually Travis Charest took over on the pencils. And no offense to Jim Lee, but like Travis Charest, I thought just like blew that out of the water, and Richard Friend did too as his inker. He just, man, that was like cool. And it took. The frustrating thing with those is that because Travis Charest does such detailed pencils, it was rare that he would be the only penciler on an issue. So you'd have all this build up, and then they'd have like a fill-in guy for like the last couple pages, and it was like, wow, let down, And then like maybe you go a couple issues, and then there'd be like they'd have a fill-in guy, and it just was not on the same level. So. But, man, I just love looking at his artwork. So anyway, I've been a fan of Richard Friend since the 90s, and he's got a really good YouTube channel. I had fallen off, I think I had just watched all of his videos, and I was studying other things, and actually it was on one of his videos that I found out about the Kuretake brush pen, which is my favorite inking tool right now. And, anyway, I just, I think somebody in the 100s group had mentioned that he had a lot of great tutorials, and when I was watching his YouTube channel, he didn't really have a lot of tutorials. He was just kind of talking about the comic business in general, which was interesting. But I checked out his channel, and he's got these videos on like how to render like Bernie Wrightson, and that's like, let's see, if there was one thing in the world that I could learn, that would be it, maybe. So. Anyway, so I've been watching a bunch of Richard Friend's videos, and I was like, yeah, I need to do more intensive inking on this, and then I'll worry about the color after that. So, I have, this is the only page of, it's the first page, so I figured I might as well start there. So I just had like the very basic outline before, and now I'm going back through, and I had started. I hadn't really done any inking on the background on this panel at all, and I've got that going, and I've started filling in more detail on the figure in the first panel. I'm going to try and go panel by panel, page to page while I do this. I still have my accidental phallic symbol on the second one there, but I was thinking, you know what, since my fix for this was going to be to do the street black and cover that up, but I might just do that I might just take that out in Photoshop and not have the street be black, because that doesn't really fit with my idea of the composition on the idea I've always had for the composition on the first panel. So, anyways, that is where I'm at right now. So I'm going to go through and beef up my inks, and with an eye to where the word bubbles and dialogue boxes will be too, so I don't waste time with stuff that's going to be covered up. Actually, I had sent the first 2 pages with letters to my brother as a test, because he wrote the story, and he wrote back to me this morning and said that he wasn't sure if we really need to have the dialogue boxes, because he feels that people should get the gist of what's going on with the art. And then he said maybe I could give this guy some thought bubbles, but he wasn't. He's like, I really like the way the dialogue looks, but he thought the text boxes on the first page were distracting. So Now I really wish I had my test page here so I could show what we're talking about. But so my brother and I are having some back and forth on. We're kind of figuring out how to do our comic process together. You know, because he sent me the script as it was just one of his short stories. It wasn't done in like a comic script format, so that's probably what a big part of what we need to get down and go from there. But anyways, that looks like everything I have. I'm almost at 11 minutes now, so I'm gonna quit moving my pie hole around. And thanks for watching. And I'm gonna do my best to just do videos on Fridays for the foreseeable future anyway. So thanks for watching. Keep on buying comics, making comics, and reading comics, and I will see y'all later. Bye.